You're listening to Adapt and Thrive, a survival guide for the modern marketer, with how modern marketers can thrive in the ever-changing and often intimidating landscape of digital marketing. Your survival guide begins now.
Welcome to Adapt and Thrive, the final episode of our L7 Marketing Machine podcast series. We've gone through the first three phases, so we are coming up on the Calibrate and Refuel phase.
Yeah, that's the phase where we launch into the actionable marketing plan. And it's the most exciting because now we see the fruits of our labor.
Absolutely. All right, so let's get into how we measure and improve our marketing efforts in the Calibrate and Refuel phase. How would you describe this phase?
Well, we call it our budget and payback calendar, but this is a calendar that really came out of the previous 6 sections. We've got a list of tactics now that work in conjunction in support of the overall strategy. So when we start, we assign a team to this and we start to roll it out. It's a tremendous amount of work because we have to create all these assets.
And at the beginning of the Calibrate and Refuel phase, we set KPIs, so key performance indicators, and those KPIs drive everything. There's no emotional attachment to any of the tactics. So if it's not meeting our KPIs or it's not positively contributing to our goals, we nix it. And that's the Calibrate piece of it, is taking a look at every tactic and every platform individually, seeing what value it's bringing to the overall marketing plan, and then being able to add and remove based off of performance.
Right, or adjust the messaging. That's a big part of it. Before we would nix it, we would adjust the messaging and continue to work on how we disseminate this particular tactic in our overall strategy. So we need to make sure that we're applying all these tools correctly, all the tactics, all the advertising strategies, and it's working as a whole to move the ball forward and meet the client goals and meet our KPIs. Mm-hmm. So what is analyze? So what we're going to measure different key performance indicators using data.
Every platform to some degree has a reporting technology that typically it works well with. Reporting and marketing these days requires such incremental changes are massive in marketing. So being able to get really, really granular with your data is imperative to success. And I would say that in every service we offered, take it paid social, for example. We have a set of 3 separate reporting platforms we use to report on paid social metrics. And they all provide different insights and together they provide a holistic story that we can make executive decisions on.
Can you give me some examples of some of the data we've measured and course corrections we've made and maybe some success stories?
Sure. So in the world of paid social, we are constantly looking at the ad architecture. You have your hook. So you have that initial 3-second hook where you capture their attention. Then you have the body or the content, and then you have the closing. And throughout that ad, you are tracking your drop-off rate, right? So where are your viewers dropping off during this video? In addition to that, if you have a really high stop rate, so that initial first 3 seconds where you hook them and they stop scrolling to watch the video, and you have a high click-through rate but a low conversion rate, well, we didn't tell them enough in that video, or we told them enough of the wrong type of content where they were either price shocked on the page or something else inhibited that final purchase. There's such an art to looking at the data and being able to make incremental decisions that change even the smallest of metrics but make a huge impact.
Great. So it's really dynamic in the world of, particularly in the world of paid social.
Mm-hmm.
These ads are very dynamic. They're very scrutinized. They're analyzed. They're updated and tested against a set of ads that are the high performing ones. Is that right?
Exactly. Yeah, we have high performing ads that for whatever KPI that they're high performing. And then you take that and it's almost like a science and a Frankenstein component where you piece this hook with this body and this CTA and it makes the winning ad. But you have this ad over here and it has what we think to be a great body and a great CTA, but that stop rate is pretty low compared to some other ads out there. So the hook has to be swapped out. And all of that is done through, data analysis and those super, super specific KPIs and metrics we're measuring.
Excellent. And we're meeting with clients on a pretty regular accelerated cadence in this early stages, just so we're checking to make sure that our results are meeting their goals. It doesn't start to kind of settle down until about 3 to 4 months into it, right?
Right. Yeah, the first 90 days, there's so much establishment happening in the build and run, and then that bleeds into the Calibrate and Refuel phase. But super hands-on in the first couple of months, and then continues to be there on out. But we have more to work with. We have more of a foundation to be a little bit more independent, and I think it gets easier.
How does it transition into kind of more of a regular marketing strategy that really transitions into increased numbers on the client side?
You learn an immense amount, obviously, when you have your campaigns live and the data's flowing in and you're making these executive decisions. But there's a certain level of seasonality to a marketing plan depending on what business you're in. But I would say in e-commerce specifically, when Black Friday, Cyber Monday rolls around, you have a different set of KPIs than you do for the rest of the year. For other industries and other clients, in recruitment advertising, January 1, new year, new me. There's a lot of activity in recruitment advertising in Q1. And so that particular time you end up really ramping things up, just like in a Black Friday, Cyber Monday e-commerce example. So I would say the Calibrate and Refuel phase it's evergreen. You're always in it. You're always looking at what is working, what's not, what season are you entering into.
And we're meeting constantly internally in strategic meetings, analyzing the numbers, analyzing the data, refocusing on the client's plan. And then what I enjoy about this is we meet with the clients, and now they have a proof positive that they can take to their management. So they'll get a deck that shows the numbers rising, shows up arrows, and that will continue through the end of their fiscal year. And we can then help them develop a plan to budget their department for the new fiscal year. So now we have real data that's associated with increased performance, and really help them so that they can go well armed into those strategic meetings, those meetings that their bosses are saying, okay, what do you need for your budget to achieve this goal, for example, and we'll help them put together that plan based on real numbers that they achieved over the previous 9 months. And then the new fiscal year will have 12 months of data to match it against their goals. So it's a really exciting time for them as they can continue to see a real positive push in their marketing efforts.
Yeah, and one of the best parts in those meetings is when we present marketing budgets. We have a whole year usually of data that we can back up every single budget allocation to, and then that budget can change year to year, and we have the data to back it up every time. So it's always a good opportunity to showcase the year's work and then be able to assign budget strategically to the platforms and to what's working.
And even come in with new ideas for them for their new fiscal year, so we can present those to them, ways to improve their marketing strategy based on their unique selling propositions, their positioning in the marketplace, new products, new services maybe that they're launching in that new year. And it's just really exciting for the client to be able to have a solid handle on their marketing. Now they have a plan. It's a plan. It's not just a spreadsheet. It's not just a bunch of ideas. It's not trying new things just to try them. It is very strategic. It really is their blueprint for success.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's really the value of the marketing machine. It gives you a custom strategy that's actionable, that allows brands to really step into crowded markets with confidence.
We come to the end of the year and we can look back and we can say, man, we've got a great foundation for success to make some necessary course corrections for the new year and even realize even higher goals and better results for them the following year.
All right, guys, there you have it. We've just walked through the entire proprietary L7 marketing machine process, from the blueprint to the build and run to the calibrate and refuel phase. This has been so much fun. We hope you've enjoyed this deep dive with us, and it's given you valuable insights, practical tools, all the things you need to revolutionize your marketing strategy. Thanks so much for joining us. Until next time.
Thanks for listening to this episode of Adapt and Thrive, a survival guide for the modern marketer. If you liked what you've heard, subscribe and drop a comment on what topics you'd like to hear in future episodes. Good luck out there, marketers. Until next time.